What's going on, guys? And today I'm going to be showing you the best 4-3-2-1 tactics and the best tactics in the game in my opinion. I am 140-0 with these tactics, not using the team on the screen. This screen is actually my pro team that I use in pro friendlies. That's why there's a bunch of loans, and the loans actually don't go down because those don't count as actual games, kind of like friendlies, just the competitive version of it. These are the tactics that I'm also going to be using in DreamHack Dallas for that tournament to try to qualify for the Esports World Cup. But anyways, enough about that. Let's get straight into the video. To start off, obviously 4-3-2-1. Defense is going to be balanced, right? We don't want to change any of that. None of the other ones are very good, so don't change that, right? Keep that the same. Width is going to be 35. I like low width, especially on defense, right? Especially having our attackers coming back. They can help with the width a little bit more, but obviously the most dangerous part of the field is the middle because that's where you concede the most goals. So we're going to keep that width pretty low. And for depth, we're going to have 65 depth. Now, depth can be changed from anywhere between, 60s, right? If you feel like you get countered too much, you can move it down to like 61, but you can also move it up to like 70. Don't go past 71. Honestly, I think 69 should be the cap, but don't go too high because then you initiate the kind of like glitch press of, it being the 71 depth. And that was a big issue at the beginning of the game, but it still exists. So avoid that. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it safe and play it at 65 because I like having two, even numbers there. Now for offense, it's going to be balanced, right? And of course, like I say, for literally every formation, direct passing. It's just the best offensive tactic, chance creation tactic, right? The best one. Keep direct passing no matter what formation you play. Make sure you have this on. Now for width, it's going to be 40, a little bit higher than what I used to have it. The reason is because you'll see later in the tactics, I really like to use our fullbacks on offense, but not all of them. And I'll explain a little bit more later in the video. So 40 width, so it's not too congested in the middle, but also, leaving a little bit of space for our fullbacks out wide. Now for players in the box, I really like to be a very attacking and aggressive player. So this is why I put 7 out of 10 here, right? If you get countered too much or you think this is too aggressive for you, you can move it down to like 6, maybe even 5. But I definitely recommend having at least 6 or 7. I prefer 7, so I'm going to keep it at that. And if you're a very attacking player, definitely keep it at 7. Don't put any more, because if you put anything more than that, it really starts to move players out of position. They start making really weird runs, and you also just feel like there's no passes open because all of your forwards just kind of start going in the box and, they're just man marked. So no movement, right? There's no outlet pass, so it really kind of corners you. Now for corner kicks, it's going to be 3 bars. The reason it's going to be 3 bars is because if you guys don't know, corners are super overpowered with players like Erling Haaland, who obviously is going to dunk you, and also players like Sorloth, Courtois, the new Bisek, VVD, all of these tall players with aerial plus. I know Bisek doesn't, but Bisek looks like a bear in game. He genuinely just looks super massive and gets literally everything, and he's super tall. So those kind of players, they score a stupid amount of corners. So if you've been conceding corners, that's why. It's meta. Learn corners. I can do a tutorial of it if you guys want. Just let me know in the comments down below. But keep that there. If you don't like corners and you don't want to learn corners, then just move it down to 1, right? Play short, keep the ball. The whole point of this is you don't want to get counterattacked. Getting counterattacked in this game is the worst feeling ever. And not just that, you concede most of your goals off counterattacks, right? So to avoid that, just make it 1. Make sure not too many of your players go up, but enough are up there. And then just play short and keep possession of the ball, and then maybe form an attack. But I'm going to keep it at 3 for that. And for free kicks, I suck at free kicks, so I'm just going to keep it at 2. Why? I have enough players up the field. I can also keep possession, and I'm not going to get counterattacked because I only have 2 on free kicks. But anyways, let's get into the players and which players you should actually play where. Now, in this formation, because it's my pro team and it's a very good team, as you guys saw at the beginning, I have De Bruyne as a center mid. The reason I have this is because he has the long ball playstyle plus, and is very accurate to pass to our fullbacks, who I usually trigger on runs very often. So I like to have the better passer in the midfield. And this specific De Bruyne, he has finesse plus. So if you have a finesse plus player like a Gundogan or any other player like that, Footbirthday Hullet would be very good as well. Finesse shots from the top of the box are very overpowered. So he also scores a lot of goals for me there. and he's a great outlet pass because he's got very good ball control. Bellingham is also a very good attacking midfielder. Even though he's better defensively, he's still very, very good going forward, so he can actually play this position in this formation. However, for the sake of your teams, unless it looks as good as this one, I would switch and put Bellingham as the defensive mid, right? And have De Bruyne as the box-to-box. This works as well, and this is actually what I recommend most of you to do. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to keep it at that. Now, left center mid, you want to have a player like Putellas. I know Putellas is super expensive. Her team of the year is incredible, but super, super expensive. So cheap alternatives are like Lacey Santos, right? She is incredible, 5-star, 5-star. That new Odegaard, very, very good as well. These are the types of players that I recommend to put in these positions where they're somewhat good defensively. They have like 70s. Zico, very good as well, by the way, right? Have like, you know, mid 70s, maybe even 80 defending, depending on how good they are. But they're way better offensively, and they're other players in the midfield that are going to go up and down the field constantly and almost be like a cam in this position, which this position lacks a lot of. Now, left back and right back. Left back, I have Havertz on my main team, right? This is my pro team. I think I might incorporate Havertz here, but I recommend having a big fullback and then one small one. I attack more on the right side, especially in these tactics, so I'm going to have a tall left back, which would be Havertz. And then on the right back, I have Onabaje because she is much smaller, more agile, and can shake off defenders. She's also very good attacking wise, which is why I like to have a very attacking right back. Now for your forwards, I like to have my most agile striker in the middle. So Salah is going to be that one for me. And Mbappe, this is what I call the Mbappe position this year, has to be on the right center forward position. The reason for this is because he's big, he's got a big body type, he's got explosive step overs if you use step overs, especially in between the pockets between the left back and the center back, and he really outpaces opponents, which is the most important thing, especially on counterattacks, which is why you want to have a player like Mbappe out there on the wing, right? Quote unquote the wing, because this formation is very, very narrow. Now, the left center forward. Now, this is the interesting one. This is the meta player where you have your super tall players like Haaland, Sorloth, Courtois that you just constantly cross to. These are the players that you want there. If you don't want to play that stupid crossing meta, I understand. You can play whoever you want here, right? Another striker, just a very attacking player. Play him here. Make sure he's got a 5-star weak foot if he is right-footed, by the way, because you don't want to have those weak foot shots across the net not going in. But this is where you play your tall player. Drogba, also very crazy. If you don't know where to play Drogba, this is where you play him, just for that like crossing meta, all of that. If you want a tutorial on that, I can make it as well. Teach you guys how to play against it and defend it, but also how to use it on offense. Now, for the actual instructions, we're going to go ahead and start off with the goalie. So for the goalie, I do comes for crosses and sweeper keeper. The reason I do this is because, again, the crossing meta, I really like my goalkeeper coming out and trying to intercept it so that people don't have very, very easy crosses. And sweeper keeper I like because, I'm going to be honest, sometimes I get counterattacked pretty bad. I really want my keeper coming out and just getting the ball before the striker. So I like to be a little bit more risky with that, have like a Neuer-esque player. So that's why I enjoy having that. Now for the right back, it's going to be overlap and balanced attack. The reason I told you already is because I like to have an attacking fullback, specifically on the right side, because that is my more attacking formation and player, and I like attacking through the right side. Now for my left back, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be stay back while attacking and overlap. Now the reason I have this is because I want them to still overlap. However, I do want them to stay back on defense unless I manually trigger them with L1 or make a pass while holding L1. If you don't know how to do that, I can teach you guys how to trigger runs as well. Just let me know in the comments. But this is what I do. And the reason I trigger that run is because they make a big run in behind the left back or right back, depending on which side you do it. And then you can play an L1 triangle pass on PlayStation using a player like De Bruyne, and your left back is almost on like a half breakaway, but catches their fullbacks on a 2v1 situation where you can do like a cutback pass and get like a very good opportunity and almost start like a counterattack. Now moving on, the right center mid is going to be stay back while attacking and cover center. Don't touch anything else, right? This is going to be your box-to-box midfielder. He's going to move up a little bit because naturally the right center mid is a little bit forward than the central center mid. So it's going to be a little bit more attacking, but he's also going to stay back on defense and help out a lot. Now for the central center mid, like Bellingham's, Tchouaméni, those type of players, Hullet, Vieira, those kinds of players, they're going to stay back a little bit more, but also be the outlet pass. So you want to make sure that they're pretty good at passing as well. Rodri's a very good one because he's very good defensively, but also very good at passing and decent at turning. So it's going to be stay back while attacking and cover center as well, exactly the same as the right center mid. Now this changes with the left center mid. So it's going to be balanced attack, balanced everything. Actually, I don't know why I read it out like that, but it's going to be balanced everything, right? Don't touch anything. This allows them to cover the wing, right? To help on the left back side, right? To make sure that the left back isn't overlapped and caught on 2v1 situations. She'll also be a little bit more centrally because she's still technically a left center mid. And on offense, she's going to go up the field a lot more than the other players. So the other two players kind of like form a line behind her, and she kind of becomes like a cam in this formation. And she moves all around the pitch, even sometimes going on the right side of the field, right? So she kind of becomes like a free roam. So it really breaks the formation and it switches almost into the 4-2-3-1 formation, kind of something similar to that, right? But a little bit different. And then on defense, it becomes kind of like a 4-4-2, right? Which also gets created by having Mbappe come back on defense. So we want to have Mbappe come back on defense, stay central and get it behind. So he's still super attacking, but just make sure that he comes back on defense and creates that 4-4-2 kind of formation on defense and helps to not get overwhelmed on the right side. Have your right back on not 2v1, right? Have it 2v2. So it's a lot harder to break down your defense. Now for Salah, he's going to be stay central and getting behind, you know, average striker type things, right? Stay central, getting behind, don't touch anything else. And then the most important position, if you're a crossing merchant, is the left center forward, which is just going to be stay central, don't touch anything else, right? The reason it's stay central and not touching anything else is because you want him to stay central for those knockdown passes and you don't want it to move out wide. And also when you cross the ball, you want him to be in the middle where he could either do the knockdown pass or just have a clear header on goal. Now, one quick thing before we end the video, and is a tip to all of you guys who stayed this far into the video, is at the beginning of every game, make sure that you hit the top button on the D-pad. This is the D-pad on the left side of the controller, by the way. You want to make sure you hit the top button and hit the right side and make sure you click the one that says hug sidelines. The reason for this is it moves your left back and your right back to the opposite like sides of the field, right? To the very end, touching the byline, and it creates so much space for you on attack. And when you switch the play, it gives you so much time on the ball, so much freedom, and it allows you to counter your opponents and make those 2v1 situations while his team is switching to the other side of the field. So super important on offense, right? You got to do this. It's super broken and super overpowered. And one more thing you can do as well with your striker is if you hit down on the D-pad and then hit upwards, it's going to do drop back striker. This helps a little bit on defense. And most importantly, when you get the ball in transition play, you're always going to have a player to pass to as a number 9. So you can have a pass to him and then maybe play it out wide, or you have other options. I like it because it connects the midfield and the forward line a little bit better than just the default formation, so that, you know, when you feel like you're getting pressed by your opponent, at least you have a player coming short from the number 9 spot and you have an extra pass and an extra option before you play it out wide, either one touch, or you can turn around and see what you do afterwards. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for the tactics in game and also the tactics on the team for this video. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment down below what you have. I'll answer all the comments, and let me know what type of video you guys want to see in the next one, whether it's a tutorial or you just want me to do a fun 20-0 challenge. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know how your weekend league went this weekend. Peace.